Microphone 2, Pastor Lindholm.
Charles Lindholm from Prince of Peace in Clifton Park. I just want to know if the two votes have been taken by the congregation, do they take the property with them? That's one question I have. Second question is, I understand that some of the Missouri Lutheran churches have been trying to solicit the churches that are leaving the ELCA to join the Missouri Synod. Is that true or not?
Let me do the first one first, which I've already lost. Help me.
Oh, property.
Property, 2 votes. Sorry. Yes, they do take their property with them if they are moving to another Lutheran church body. That's the key. And if they're a former congregation of the LCA, they also have to have the approval of the Synod Council. And there has been no congregation in upstate New York that has not done things according to the way they should be done. So that's just not been a problem for us. And even St. Paul's Blossom, their vote is next Tuesday, but we won't vote on that in Synod Council until October. And they're fully aware of that. That's fine. They do take their property as long as they remain part of the Lutheran Church. And that is part of the Constitution. It's built right into the Constitution. If they choose to leave the Lutheran Church or any body of the Lutheran Church and become independent, then there's an issue with the Synod Council about where the property goes, and we would have to make decisions. Fortunately, we haven't had to deal with that at all. And the reason for that, so that you understand this fully, is that the people who invested in that property, and in many of our congregations for hundreds of years, and supported that life and mission, were Lutheran and expected and left endowments and left buildings in order for ministry to happen in the Lutheran tradition. So as long as they remain in the Lutheran tradition, that's fine. If not, then we have to have some consultations about what's going to happen to that, because a congregation in that sense does not own its property except as it is part of the Lutheran Church. But it's not like the Episcopal Church or the Roman Catholic Church. The bishop, trust me, does not own your properties. That's not where we're at. Congregations own the properties, and that's why it goes with them. The second question, bring it back to me.
LCB.
Missouri. That's a new one. I have not heard that. One of our congregations did choose to return to Missouri, actually. They came from Missouri, came through the American Association of Evangelical Lutheran Churches, and then went back to the Missouri Church. I'll let you answer that for church-wide. What we are hearing some of is that the North American Lutheran Church, which is the new church body that has been formed, has been doing some of that kind of inviting and showing up in congregations on Sunday. And that is, frankly, very disturbing to those of us who are hearing that news. I am not aware of that happening in upstate New York, but I am aware that it is happening in other parts of the country. I also want to encourage you to be really careful about what you believe when you read it online. We have had at least 4 situations that I can think of where the North American Lutheran Church has claimed ownership and membership of congregations that have not left. And so we don't know what's going on there. We don't know if somebody in the congregation has made an approach. We don't know what's going on. But when that claim is made that somebody is making the shift, don't believe everything you see on the internet.
I might just add, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
please.
know, I don't think that there's been any kind of a investigation or conclusion of what are all the factors external to the questions, the theological and questions of conscience that have been at the base of why congregations bring this forward and the decision making within the community. Clearly there are some external dynamics in some cases. I think it's anecdotal. I personally don't get only get involved in 2 aspects of this because my responsibility is much more on the mission side, and that is If there are rumors spreading about ELC world hunger, in particular, global mission at times more broadly, and as you can imagine in these kind of conversations that happen in congregations, misinformation or slanted information, I would say even slanted information, is a factor. I mean, and so again, don't believe everything you read on the internet. The second, I mean, do the research, and people often want to just know the facts. And I consider it's my responsibility to convey the facts, not to set an apologetic approach to trying to get an outcome. The second is there clearly are some networks of Lutheran churches that are setting the case out there, encouraging congregations.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just a reality. I have actually not seen that as prevalent in the kind of conversations from Missouri Synod, though, in particular.
No, I haven't either. I do want to say a word about Missouri Synod, though, because I think that might be important. They are struggling with the decisions that we took, and I think that's just a public thing, and that is true. And I know that we are continuing to engage in conversation at the church-wide level. Bishop Hansen meets with the president, whose name now, the new one, escapes me. But they are trying to continue to stay in conversation around these issues. There is question about the joint ministries that we've been doing for a really long time. And so we're just being attentive to those, recognizing that all of our social ministries are integrated. Lutheran Services in America is an organization of the ELCA and the LCMS. Much of our disaster relief work has ties, not all of it by any stretch, but some places there are ties. Social ministry organizations have ties. And so we're going to have to just kind of sort those out. We are very fortunate in upstate New York that our relationship with the Missouri congregations and pastors is, in most cases, just really outstanding. And we're really blessed with just long-term, wonderful relationships. And I'm grateful for that. We still have joint campus ministries. We still have joint social ministries. And to my knowledge, none of those are under any threat whatsoever from any of this.